Hey everyone, this is Dan the GM welcoming you to episode 19 of What the Dice. Have you joined the Discord? You should join the Discord. Join the Discord. One of us. One of us. You want to join it? Head to whatthedice.weebly.com. Go to the links page and click on that beautiful Discord icon. It'll send you over to our Discord and you can join our community. Well, enough of that. On with this week's episode. Sitting in the campsite, we can see our breath on the wind. The cold air moving in from the ocean side chills us to the bone. Tossing a few more logs into the fire just to keep it at bay just that little bit longer. We look over, and the storyteller has put on a heavier wool cloak. In his lap, the book. Opening it, he flips through a few pages. Looking at us, he smiles. Ah, me friends. So, it seems as if the adventuring party has gotten through the strange realm and was only greeted by a strange creature that wanted nothing more than to eat them. Well, our friends are not as weak as the creature thought. And with great skill, they were able to get rid of it. Well, they still have the problem of the strange kobold playing a sad tune. So, sit back, me friends, and let us continue our tale. Before you guys lays the dead body of the strange child. The kobold is still strumming away at his guitar, his head down, staring down at the damaged guitar. What would you guys like to do?
Defibulous will holler from his shooting position. Is it dead yet?
It's dead. Does anybody speak a version of kobold?
I speak Draconic. I don't know if it's close enough for it to understand.
Still strumming, the creature looks up. His eyes are silvery blue. Rune speaks common.
You can stop playing if you wish. Rune, is it?
He slowly nods and stops playing. Looking at you, he gives a thankful nod. Rune thanks you for destroying the strange creature.
You're welcome, Rune.
Is it what ate your tail?
He looks back at what used to be his tail and sadly nods.
Is it just the tip that's left?
Got a nub.
It looks like the child had devoured his tail to the point where it will not grow back.
But left just the tip, though, right?
Rune looks at you guys and slowly sets his damaged lute down and begins to slowly untie the rope.
By himself?
Yes. It looks like he was only tied around the torso. His hands were left free.
Well, yeah,
Why didn't you try to escape?
Rune stares at the body of the child. Rune felt bad for Child. Child was sad. Always hungry. Rune's music soothed it.
It also was soothed by eating part of you.
Rune slowly nods, but doesn't seem to have a response.
Hey, Mr. Rune, Did you see the kid bring a skull in here?
Rune points towards a chest that seems to have a very crude lock on it. Child finds many things and tosses it into strange chest.
Did this also said kid run around with creepy dolls as well?
Rune nods. Child try lose doll, and doll always return.
Well, I was gonna look around the room for a key while listening.
Perception.
7. Hold on, I have to add numbers to it. 25.
With a 25, you find no key, but you also tend to look at the lock and notice that it is unlocked. It was set in a way so where it looked like it was always locked.
All right, I'll open the chest.
Inside the chest, you find another doll.
Great.
You find a... The doll is off to the side. You could get everything else out without touching it. You find a strange sword, a simple tarnished ring, and a skull with horns with eyes that have almost like an ever-burning flame embedded in them.
Yeah, 'cause
Huh?
that's not creepy.
I think I found our skull. And Clyde, here. Sword?
Hold on a second. I mean, it sounds like this place is just I think someone once said this place was cursed, so do we want to really hand that stuff out if it might be cursed?
I'm pretty sure the doll that's in there is cursed, but we needed to get the skull, and I'm not putting the ring on until it's identified. No.
Well, how about, we could always...
Well, let's do some detect evil just to see.
You just have that permanently set on.
It's got like a light switch.
It'd be interesting.
On, off. Because I was thinking, we could just leave all of it in the chest and just bring it all back with us.
The chest looks like it'd be light enough for someone to carry.
We put it in the bag of holding that we have. All right, fine. Clyde, give me the bag. I'm gonna put the chest in the bag.
We can't put the chest into the bag. The bag does not open wide enough to put the chest in.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Damn.
It is a small chest. The biggest thing in there is the sword, and it's about a 2-pound sword. I believe it's a one-handed weapon.
That's why I was handing it to Clyde so we could put it in the bags.
I will wrap the sword in a some sort of cloth, or and then put it in the bag of holding, as well as the ring, and I will stay far, far away from the doll.
So there was a ring, a sword, and a what?
A doll and the skull.
And the skull. Okay.
You sure you guys don't want the doll?
Yeah, no, I'm going to close that chest after.
Oh, is it putting off evil vibes?
Yes, it is. It has that same creepy smile, and if someone wants to take a closer look, you might notice something else.
No.
It's got a bullet hole through it. Because I get the feeling it's the same doll I shot earlier.
Just gonna close the chest.
As you close the chest, Rune tucks the rope into a small satchel that is near the chair.
I'm gonna lock the chest.
You notice that Rune starts to gather up a strange magical hat and begins to... Go ahead.
We know it's magical?
Yes, it's glowing magic. Like, it's clear because there are also runes around the leather band on the outside of the hat.
Shouldn't we
pulse.
stop him from having a magical item in any way, shape, or form?
I thought it was radioactive.
Yeah, I would like to try and stop him from having any magical item.
Okay. So you're going to try to take the hat from him?
I'm going to say, Rune, because we do not know your intentions, would you please mind putting down the hat?
He looks down at the hat, looks at you, and slowly nods. Folding it up very gently, he places it in his bag.
Okay. Would you mind telling me what the hat does and what your intentions are. You seem like a oddly intelligent kobold. I mean, no offense.
Rune smiles softly as he looks down at the guitar. Rune was like others, but Rune found music. And he begins to pat his chest and then seems to panic and digs through his bag quickly, pulling out a small pendant. It's the symbol of a bird with a rainbow feather stretching out, or rainbow tail stretching out over its head. Placing the necklace on his neck, he smiles, touching it softly. But then, priest of Shaylin told me of music and beauty.
Knowledge religion.
Roll.
That's actually a nat 20.
All right. So, Shaylin is considered a neutral good goddess. Um, she is also known as like the uncorruptible, the eternal maiden. She tends to be worshipped by artists, poets, and lovers. Her concern, like the areas that she tends to focus the most in, are art, beauty, love, and music. She is mostly worshipped in high class society where you have a lot of bards. Let's see. Based on the lore, her mother, which no one knows the name of, which was the former goddess of love, was destroyed, and Shaylin took over her area.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Rune, want me to fix your guitar for you?
Uh, I was gonna first do a gosh, it's not insight. Sense
Sense
motive,
motive.
just to make sure.
Roll.
14.
He is being completely honest.
Okay, then go ahead. Short run. Do what you.
Want me to see if I can fix that for you so it plays a little better?
Rune looks down at his guitar and he goes, Rune's guitar plays well.
It sounds like it's a little off key, but I mean, if you're happy with it.
This is Rune's only guitar. I trust only me. I sorry.
Can short run at least take a look to see what's causing it to play off key at the moment?
Yes, roll knowledge engineering.
While he is doing that, I'm going to ask him what the hat was about, since I could obviously see it was magical.
Rune smiles. He goes, is how Rune goes and plays in human cities. Is hat disguise. It make me look humanish.
Okay, I understand.
23 on the roll.
So it looks like what the knobs that hold the tension of the guitar seem to be stripped. The hole that resonates the sound seems to be cracked in several areas, and it looks like there's different areas on the body itself that has some damage. It looks like this guitar is probably 50 to 55 years old, and it is seen a lot.
Wow, that's an old guitar. Definitely looks like it's seen a lot of use.
Rune smiles as he taps his guitar. Yes.
I mean, I couldn't. Sadly, I don't have the skills to fix the damage to the body, but I could always see if I could fix the tuning pieces if you ever need it.
Rune smiles and gives you a nod. Is Rune free to go?
I actually have a few other questions, if that's all right. If you know about what is currently going on in the area, I guess you could say the undead that were here.
Rune seems to go deep in thought. His eyes shift back and forth as it's clear he is trying to think of exactly what happened. Slowly sitting down, Rune looks at you guys. Rune's tribe, once peaceful, left humanoids to self as we survive in swamp. One day, chieftain visited by strange man with pointy nose. Things change. Kobolds become more aggressive. Want to serve some strange god. Never heard of God. Rune decide to leave. Rune go to this shack. Find small child. Go to help child. Stuck sense.
Do you, by any chance, remember the name of this god? Did it have to do with bones at all?
Strange creature always say master, or the god, or only god, or true god. Never really give name.
Okay, I understand. You are still trying to be as peaceful as possible, correct?
Rune no like blood.
You know, why don't you come with us? You can come play at the city that we were just at a while ago. How long have we been gone anyway?
Well, no one really knows, I guess.
No, because we immediately came out of the swamp and landed here and engaged into, blah, blah, blah. So we have no idea how much time has passed.
Yeah, it's not like there's a sun or anything.
Well,
So
that could be
I'm going to ask
days.
Rune, do you know roughly how long ago this camp that is right next to the shack or nearby was became silent?
Rune seems to tap his chin, tap his guitar. 2 week.
Thank you.
Sounds about right.
And there we go.
Well, that tells you it's been 2 weeks since.
We destroyed the camp.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys? Should we take him with us?
If he wishes.
I have no objection.
I mean, the place had some nice inns. He could probably play there.
He's free to do what he wants. If he wants to follow, he can follow.
So now that you have this strange skull, what would you like to do?
Well, we need to go back to the rat scholar.
Yep.
So do you want to make your way back to Narrow Cloud, then to the Holy City, or do you want to try cutting through the swamp and cutting through the forest, or...
I want to go back to Narrow Cloud to see how the people are doing there, to see if whatever we did in the Cursed Swamp changed things.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I know Defibulus, at least thinking back to the path of muddy tracks that the kid left through the camp, the kobold camp, wants to check the tent before we leave.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to get us to do that, but everybody ignored the tent.
So back in the Cobalt Swamp, or Cobalt Village thing,
Yeah.
you approach the large tent. It has been ransacked. It's clear that the child was looking for something. His footprints are all over the muddy ground, and it looks like at one point he was frustrated and threw something.
Can we see what he threw?
Like a box or a chair, like that frustrated, like...
Hurl whatever's in your hand or close to you.
Correct.
Grr.
Defibulus will give the place a once over and see if anything's missing from last time we were here.
As you do, Rune seems to be lost in thought as he meanders about. He seems to stay away from the throne and the cooking area. He seems to not necessarily be sad that they are gone, but almost relieved.
I wonder if that child was looking for that vial that we found. Do you remember how we found that really nasty poison? We still have it.
Wait, is the same poison about the same color and consistency of the ooze that came out of the kid?
I'm going to recall.
It's thinner.
Okay. Possibly. It seems thinner.
But I think the priestess lady said that that was a much more concentrated version that you have.
Yes. It's potential that it's similar, but I wouldn't go to say that it is, like, indefinitely.
Well, we could always ask Rune if he's ever seen something like it.
Would you like to do that?
Hey, Rune,
Hmm. Yes?
do you know anything about a black little vial?
He thinks and thinks. He starts to run his finger or his toe through the mud like a child that is being reprimanded, then stops. He goes, strange creature had carried, always dipped his sword in it or dagger in it.
Wait,
What did
are
he?
we talking about the poison that we had?
Yes, we still have it. It's not had. We still have it.
Yeah, it's creeper poison.
Yes, we know what it is.
Oh, okay.
I was seeing if Rune knew anything else that they did with it. And
Strange
apparently,
creature,
go ahead.
strange creature would dip blade in, and then if we did not do what he said, he would put put the tip in our flesh. We would feel weak for days.
So just the tip.
All right, so it sounded like he was using this creeper poison to weaken, and maybe that allowed the weakening to corrupt them.
Can I get a perception check from everyone?
19.
Holy crap! I got a 17.
Holy shit.
Nat 20.
As you guys look around, actually, I'm not going to roll for room. I don't care that much. As you guys look around, you start to notice that the mud is starting to turn white, as if it was bone dust. Where the skull sat, there now seems to be a shadow of a mask that is cracking.
Where?
As you, where the skull sat on the throne, there is now a mask. It's a death mask.
What do we know about death masks?
They are usually a mask, usually of a person, but this one looks like it's pretty just no facial features, just nose, face, eyes. And it's usually put on someone who has recently passed away. The mask starts to crack, revealing a skull. The lower jaw slowly opens, and a blue mist moves out and into the sky. Rune stares at this and steps back.
I'm going to step back too.
Yeah, same here.
A few moments pass, and the mist is gone, and the strange shadow skull is also gone.
So both skulls disappear. The mask and the skull disappear?
Yep. But you still have the strange skull with the glowing eyes.
Okay. So not my skull.
Right.
What did we just do?
I have no idea.
Defibrius will look at the Clyde.
Clyde will turn to and ask him if he's ever seen anything like that.
Rune shakes his head.
Yeah, but it didn't seem evil. It seemed like something was releasing, like something was being broken.
Can I get a perception check from everyone?
13.
11.
9.
Wow. Clyde is the only one that notices.
Told you,
You're
whenever
hearing-
I roll low, he rolls high.
Clyde, you're starting to hear the sound of birds and insects chirping. It seems like life has started to return to the area.
Is it
I think
because
we
we
just did
brought
something good because I'm starting to hear nature again.
agreed? Because I stop and listen now that it's been pointed out to me.
You also hear birds and insects chirping. It seems like nature is returning to this area rather quickly, as if
All,
reappearing.
but all we did was come back, search some things. The only
But we
difference
have the
is
skull with us.
and the skull.
And we killed the weird creature thing.
Yeah, but that took some time.
Well, I mean the drooly, toothy kid thingy.
True.
I'm kind of curious. The one guy, the caretaker, said he'd return the swamp back to where it belonged. I wonder kind of what's there now.
I say we head back to the swamp and see what's going on and not make our way back to Narrow Cloud.
So back to the swamp.
Yep, you coming, Rune?
Rune will follow.
Follow, follow, follow.
Let me zoom out so I can get you guys placed. As you return, the dark swamp is clear. You can see the sky clearly. There is no mist. There is life in abundance in the area. The strange creatures that clung to the trees that you saw earlier are no longer around. The water is flowing normally and is clear. You notice squirrels running in the trees, and you hear birds chirping, as well as insects that you would commonly hear in a swamp. In the distance, you see the glow of the strange obelisk. The glow is white with light blue pulses.
Do you think we should go check that out or stay away from it?
Well, it's the easiest way to get back to Narrow Cloud, is it not? If it's the curse is lifted, should be pretty easy to get through the swamp. We already know most of the terrain.
Very true.
Make our way through, I say.
As you travel slowly through the swamp, making sure to avoid any traps that may be left, one of the things you notice is that the traps that were left have been destroyed. The mirror that you came across earlier is in pieces. Some traps that you didn't trip have been unburied and damaged to where they cannot harm anyone, but left out as a reminder of the danger of what was once here.
Like the caretaker is being productive.
Do we want to go check out his fountain or just go back to Narrow Cloud?
Do you want to stop and say hi?
Maybe.
We can stop and say
Let's
hi.
go check out where the tree was first, because that's not
Alright.
on the way.
As
We're
you walk to the tree, you notice that the water below it is clear and blue. You see footprints of animals that had drank from it recently. In the center, a stump. The bones are gone, and the taint in the water is also gone. One of the things you notice is that there are no rings, as if this tree sprouted up fully grown in one piece. The stump remains. It looks like there are two footprints that had been worn in over time.
I would say this is a much better improvement than last time we were here.
Go to the fountain then, I guess?
Not hearing any crazy whispers, are you?
Okay, do I hear any whispers?
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
That's a good thing.
I'll catch up with Clyde.
So to the fountain. heading to the fountain?
Yep.
As you approach the fountain, you don't see the runes that you saw in the Shadow Realm. Instead, you see clear water dripping down its surface, bubbling from the top. The cloves on the ground still provide that soft spring. Sitting on the edge of the fountain is that strange creature you know as the caretaker. Sitting as a shadow, he looks like he is tending to the clovers. He seems to be touching them, making sure that they are not bent, making sure that they are provided with light. He doesn't seem to see you. He moves around slowly and is tending to this strange garden that you look at. More flowers have grown.
Looks like everything's in order here.
Well, that just makes everything better, doesn't it?
I will greet him and say hello.
He doesn't seem to see or notice you. It seems that this is just an echo of when the swamp phased through the plains.
Okay. Well, then, if there's no response, then everything looks well so far.
Shall we head to Narrow Cloud?
All right.
That sounds like a good idea.
In Narrow Cloud, you notice that the air is silent. People are still shambling around. Their skin slightly pale, their eyes still inset. They seem to be going through their daily life as if this is now part of it, that they must deal with whatever disease that they have.
So they still look diseased even though we fixed the swamp.
You also notice that even though people are at the market, no one is buying food. Some of the apples seem to have rotted a little bit from the sun. They seem to be ignoring the food itself, but they are still buying tools to work the land.
Clyde, I think we should go find your paladin friend that you had here.
I believe they have left to go back to the holy city.
Shall we talk to the leader, the old elf? Something's not right here. Look at the food.
Yeah.
You don't think they're turning into like the kobolds, do you?
They almost act like it.
Well, what about your holy church place that you guys were building?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go at
let's
least investigate it,
Go
make
over
sure it's
that and take a look around.
As you approach, you see the old elf. He is slowly hammering a rudimentary bench of wood together. He has lost weight since the last time you saw him. His skin hangs loosely from his bones, but he still seems to have energy. He looks up and gives you a smile. Ah, my friends. Welcome back. I see the swamp has not harmed you in any way. Looking over, he sees the strange human that is following you, loot on his back, and you have a friend.
Yes, we have gained a friend in our adventures when defeating another, I guess you should say, evil creature. He might be able to assist in lifting some of the mood here with some music, but his lute is quite old and is in need of a slight
Repair.
repair. So, we might be able to get some of the. I turned to him and said, we might be able to get some of the items that you might need here because we had just chopped down a lot of trees. So some
There's a
wood
market.
for the loot.
Rune nods and excuses himself from the party to go shopping. The old elf walks to the rudimentary pedestal that he has made with a small book on it that is the scriptures of Desna. Closing the book, he looks at the group. Well, it seems the sickness has not progressed any. It seems that we have adapted. Our hungers have not returned, but we don't feel ill. We still feel as if we have eaten all the time.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
That sounds familiar, Clyde. But instead of the benefits, do you remember in the swamp when there was that translucent tree? The
Oh,
jelly
I remember it.
trees? It made you super sick, but it healed you. This is the opposite.
No, it didn't heal me. It just kept me nourished.
But it was still harming you.
Yeah.
How did you? But they didn't get covered in slime, like you did.
Correct. And none of them have been encased in a tree.
I think we need to make our way quickly to this rat scholar. Everyone here seems sickly. They're not eating, but they have energy. That doesn't make any sense.
The elf smiles. Well, we were able to keep your mounts fed and protected while you were gone. You have been gone several days.
I was just about to ask how long we had been gone.
He thinks for a moment. You've been gone about 4 days.
I mean, I don't sense anything around here that would be, distinguished as evil, do I?
No, you just feel that everything is in this strange neutral loop.
With them being so close to the swamp, do you think the caretakers having some kind of effect on them? Or do you think it'll just take a little bit more time for it to return to normal here? It is a little farther out than what was the Cobalt camp, isn't it?
It's through a mountain pass. I mean, with a knowledge nature, you could see if you could try to figure out if maybe something is seeped into the water table below or anything like that.
Well, no. What I'm saying is as the caretaker takes care of the swamp and returns it to normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Cobalt camp was literally just outside of the swamp, if I understand.
Yeah, it was just outside.
Yeah, when the town is a little further, right?
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to stop and see if there's birds and normal life sounds of a healthy town, like what you would expect in the nature around the town.
Roll your perception.
24.
You hear the sounds of birds and the nature around you, but it doesn't sound quite right. The bird chirps seem hollow, as if they're not chirping because they're happy, they're just chirping to fill the air.
All right, Clyde, I want to go back out of this town towards the swamp and see where the birds start to sound normal again.
Okay.
What do you want me to do?
The road's safe enough, and I'm not going to go into the swamp. I'm just going to head back that way I want to listen for the nature. If you want to accompany me, you can, or if you want to stay here and continue to investigate. But I want to see if it's a proximity to the swamp. Maybe it's just the effects of it being cured for, I don't know, maybe lack of a better term, hasn't reached here yet. Because if you remember the encampment, it first was the swamp, then it had to reach the encampment. Maybe it's just on a time delay.
I'll investigate the city.
All right. So perception check for Kalila, and what are you investigating short round?
1 second, I need to retrieve something. My dice from under my desk.
Yeah, runaway die! It regrets nothing.
Okay, sorry about that. Now that I'm
So-
back from below the desk.
My perception was 16.
All right. So as you wander slowly, you hear the sounds of the birds become less hollow. So you find this line that's about 10 minutes away where the birds sound more natural
10 minutes away from the swamp or 10 minutes away from the town?
from the town.
Okay, I'm gonna go back. I wasn't gone very long.
Defibulus is just gonna like check around the town to the best of his ability with his skill set too.
All right.
Local knowledge, engineering knowledge, whatever he can to like kind of look
So-
around.
Go ahead and roll perception.
Nat 20.
Okay. And go ahead and roll engineering.
17.
So with the nat 20, you notice that the farms are not producing food anymore. They're more producing like teas or things that would be considered herbs of pleasure, stuff that you would drink to enjoy an evening, or for a lack of a better term, things that would amplify the pleasure center of the mind. You also notice that there are more carvings on the buildings, that the buildings are looking fancier, like they are taking more time in building a better looking building. The chairs, instead of being rudimentary, are now a little bit more something you would see in a higher funded town.
Well, now we have music, so now we have sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Woo! Sex, drugs, and rock
Hot
and roll.
time. What are the carvings of, just out of curiosity?
Nature. You see some bears, wolves, deer, birds. So it looks like they're taking more time in understanding art over survival.
All right, Defibulus will head back to where the group had originally left and wait for everyone to come home.
I'm gonna check out the brand new temple.
So the temple is still being built, but they are taking great strides and using perfect cut woods. The grains are all matching up, and the layout looks like they are spending a lot more time than what you would expect someone to do for a first temple. The benches are perfectly cut. They are grooved to where if you sat, you feel no discomfort, even if there's no padding. All the wood has been debarked to the point of perfection, and it looks like they are taking their time to individually seal everything, but they seem to wait until they assemble it before doing any type of lacquer. Again, this is more something you would see in a higher funded city. You see more of a focus on the art and the culture over getting it built.
Okay. Among the people that are helping and tending the field, I'm gonna ask, hey, how come the farms aren't producing the food, and they're only producing celebratory stuff now?
One of the workers smiles as he slowly places his hammer down. well, with us not being hungry, it seemed a time to focus on our culture. We want people to understand that beauty and art is more important than war and survival.
But without survival, there can be no beauty or art.
But none
Yeah.
of us. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, well, you also are preemptively jumping this. Yes, it took us a week to get out and a week to get back in 4 days, but don't you think it's a little foolhardy to suddenly change your town's economy?
The man seems to give a light shrug. It just felt right. It didn't feel like we needed food anymore. It felt like focusing in on making us better will bring what we need.
Not to be rude, but you're kind of turning into a skeleton, buddy.
He looks down. He goes, "But I feel as strong as I was ever. I
You
feel
don't
like I am
look-
in my prime."
Have you looked in a mirror?
He shakes his head no.
I mean, I'm no expert on these things, but you might feel strong, but if your body is weak, not feeling, but physically, actually, you won't be able to continue on.
He just smiles. He goes, "Well, the gods will provide."
Yes, they have provided fields that can provide
Which
food
god?
and nourishment.
He nods at Clyde and looks at Kalila and just smiles. All the gods, they're all here to help and protect us and give us what we need.
You used to swear to Desna, not to all the gods.
We still worship Desna, but all the gods will provide.
You haven't specifically praised her.
She is part of the pantheon.
She's
Kind of sounds like a bunch of strip bolts here.
I do not know that reference, honestly.
I'm at a tavern.
As you guys head towards
Oh,
the
that was
tavern, weird.
No, I didn't know if anybody else is coming. Don't say we. I left the conversation.
Okay.
I no longer trust the old man.
As Kalila walks off, we are going to take our break so that we can end this episode here. Well, our adventuring party back in Narrowcloud have come to see a strange illness take hold of the people who live there. Food rotting, plants growing, but they're not quite what you would expect. They seem to be focused more on their culture than of their survival. No longer worshiping the god chosen for the town, but now choosing to worship the pantheon. Well, me friends, it seems as if our adventuring party has a new mystery on their hands. Well, as I always say, may the dice gods bless your every roll. We here at What the Dice would like to thank Paizo for creating Pathfinder, Epidemic Sound for our music, as well as Sirenscape for our sound effects. If you would like to reach out to us, you can do so on Facebook at What the Dice Pod, Twitter at What the Dice Pod, and of course email whatthedicepod@gmail.com. And if you liked our little adventure, please share us with your friends and rate and review us.